right, we had one recommended here. This one's from Vox Populi, Welcome Back Tribe. It says, are crazy women destroying the West? Let's see.
Are crazy women destroying the West? We are forever reading headlines about the mental health crisis in the West. We're told that we're becoming more and more unhappy and more crazy. In many Western countries, mental illness is now the leading cause of disability and responsible for 30 to 40% of chronic sick leave, costing us around 4 to 5% in GDP. But who are all these sad and mad people? Well, mostly they're women. Women are 3 times more likely to experience mental health problems than men. And they are twice as likely to be diagnosed with anxiety and depression than men.
Of course.
And this situation isn't improving. It's getting worse. Rates of self-harm among females have tripled in the last 30 years. And rates of suicidality have doubled. But hang on, I thought we had so much more mental health awareness now. The well-being industry is booming.
There you go. Go back to that. Just like our doctors want to see us healthy, right? The entire pharmacological industry that pumps out these drugs that are supposed to save us from all our issues, totally not into it for profit, right? We're here to cure people. $5.6 trillion is the worth of the global wellness industry now. That's big business, boys and girls. That means keeping you mentally sick keeps them well fed. Always remember that.
This is the era of emotions and self-care. Aren't we all opening up about how we feel, going to therapy and working on ourselves? Well, yes, but that may be part of the problem. 70 to 80% of psychologists and therapists are also women. Given that 1 in 3 women will take antidepressants in their lifetime, how many of these female therapists are also depressed and anxious? So we likely have many depressed women seeking treatment from depressed women therapists. And surprisingly, women's mental health is getting worse. So why are women so mentally unwell in the first place? Well, as Jordan Peterson and others rightly point out, it's because women are temperamentally higher in trait neuroticism than men. They're more prone to negative thinking and they're more emotional. Okay, I know I'm stating the obvious. But why else? Why are they becoming more...
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you told them to be masculine. You told them they don't need men, that children are a leech on their life, that marriage is emotional labor, that, you know, what are men good for? Toxic masculinity is holding them back from all their dreams in society, and that it's a boys club and they're strong, independent boss babes, and they should open their body up to every single man they want to because it's strong and independent, and she's getting to experiment with her sexuality, and all that shit was a lie. All of it. You got played. You became a wage cuck. You pay most of your money in either the IRS or daycare to watch your kids. Then you want to spend time with the kids that you just birthed. You can't because you got to go to work. So you're at work wondering what your kids are doing all day and who's watching them, if you could even trust them at daycare. And then you're slaving away at a job you hate because your boss, another man, is still yelling at you instead of being at home taking care of your man that actually loves you with your kids that you actually want to be with. Did I mention you're a cuck for the IRS and most of your money's being taken away anyway? Or no, they don't talk about that. Oh, and then you surround yourself with other broken, emotionally damaged, psychologically broken women that will tell you to live the same crabs in a bucket lifestyle that they're living, where they're sad, broken, getting pumped and dumped, can't find a man to save their life, always getting used and passing on that emotional trauma to you. So you're getting into a girls group and they're all just dumping emotional trauma on one another about, oh my God, how I met this guy and how this guy pumped and dumped me. And no, sis, I got this guy to take me to a 5-star restaurant I didn't even put out. Oh, but then the bad boy called me and I went and I saw him after. And then he stopped calling me again for a couple of days. Like, hey, man. Bro, it never ends. You got sold bullshit. Welcome to the world you voted for. And then again, politically speaking, you're voting for policies that are further and further eroding your self-interest.
More mentally unwell. And what's been happening in the Western world in, say, the last 50 years or so? Well, for a start, the amount of women in full-time work has increased by over 50%. Similarly, the amount of women who are unmarried and single over the age of 30 has increased from 18% to a whopping 54% in the last 30 years. And it is estimated that almost half of all women aged between 25 and 44 will be single by 2030. So, women are working more and they're marrying and having a family less, and they're becoming more depressed. This isn't only bad for women, it's bad for everyone. This is because all the gains made by extra productivity in the economy, of things becoming quicker, more efficient and cheaper, have been swallowed up by women entering the workplace. Now that there's two salaries, the man and the woman's, that can go towards the mortgage, all that has done is push asset prices up, which means that all the extra money earned goes on rent and mortgages, and there's no lifestyle improvement. All there is just greater difficulty in raising a family and maintaining a work-life balance. Alongside this, more and more women entering the workplace has brought about freedom-destroying equal pay laws. For example, the UK's equal pay laws, covered by the Equality Act, mean that men and women receive equal pay for equal work. That is, work that is similar, equivalent, or of equal value. But who decides what work is of equal value? Well, it seems that it's all down to how the judge interprets the law. So, for example, we have the shocking story of Birmingham City Council, where female dinner ladies argued that they should have been paid the same salary as dustbin men who had been earning more. The judge agreed with them, and the council had to pay out around 700 million, leaving the council bankrupt. Or, more recently, there's been the case of retail giant Net. After a 6-year legal battle in which female shop workers argued that it was not fair that they weren't being paid as much as warehouse workers, the high street brand was ordered to pay out 30 million to equalise the pay. In their defence, Next argued that the pay for the two roles was based on market price and to ensure the viability of the business. So we now have a situation where judges are telling employers how much they should pay their workers instead of the market deciding. And this is all happening in an increasingly feminised legal system that focuses on emotions, subjective interpretations, hate speech, hate laws, non-crime hate incidents.
Oh, misogyny. Damn, she's too misogynistic for me. Shut it down. Shut it down.
And that leads us to our final manifestation of toxic, crazy femininity. Whoa, since the mid-2000s, young women have becoming more and more left-wing. The growing ideological gap between men, who are more likely to lean conservative, and women, who are more likely to lean left, isn't really being caused by men becoming right-wing. It's actually because young women are increasingly adopting radical far-left positions.
Shut it down.
Perhaps, given that more of them are entering full-time work, which they struggle with because of their mental health, woke ideas such as harm reduction, focusing on emotions, caring for victim groups, and a critique of meritocratic capitalism appeals to them.
Oy vey.
Men can work long hours and work their way up the hierarchy quicker than women can. It's easier to call this patriarchy rather than accepting that men and women are just different and that women cannot compete with men.
Aye.
Diversity, equity and inclusion, safe spaces, therapeutic spaces, bringing your whole self to work.
Shut it
HR, harm
down.
reduction, psychological safety, emotionality,
Oh my God.
conformity, and aversion to conflict and disagreement, perverse misplaced compassion, perverse misplaced empathy.
Perverse.
This is the new academic environment.
There it is.
This is the new workplace. This is the new economy. This is the new legal system.
Wow, would you look at that? So it's really not toxic masculinity, huh? It's toxic femininity that's destroying society. Look at that. Female privilege, yeah?
This is the West, and it is being destroyed by toxic femininity and mentally unstable women.
Oof. Oof. That Vox Populi only has 11,000 subs, guys. So give them some love. Read some of the comments here, because I agree 100%. There's not much to add to this one, but she nailed it. Shut her down. That is way too big of a dose of misogyny for me. She has internalized it way too much. Internalized the patriarchy. Masculine republics give way to feminine democracies, and feminine democracies give way to tyranny. There's this old ass dude. His name was Aristotle, and he knew that way back in the day. The age of reason is over. We now live in the age of feelings. A relative is a female therapist. She's absolutely nuts. And their simps. Don't forget about their simps. Someone said women in command have been great for the New Zealand Navy. By the way, their largest ship capsized. For those that don't know. This guy says, a woman delivery driver came to deliver a package the other day. She arched her back in pain when she got out of the van and struggled to lift the box over the fence. Somehow, somewhere, somebody convinced her that this was better than being a mother at home with her kids. Oy vey. When the electricity goes out, everything will go back to normal. Yeah. Toxic empathy. Frustrated, aggrieved, and miserable people should not be given power. It's been established that talk therapy does not help anyone. Yeah, I'm so sick of these like hall monitors, these Karens that have sprouted up in all branches of government, literally telling you how you should live your life, what you should believe in. This is so insane that society has gotten to this level, and it's only getting worse until we stop it. Draw a line in the sand and end this shit, man, because We're destroying our own country inside out by letting these people in positions of power where they shouldn't be. Someone said, I blame the simps for letting this happen. Yeah, unfortunately, weak men have allowed people in spaces that shouldn't have been allowed to be there in the first place. We should be a merit-based society. No more DEI bullshit. No more woke practices. None of that. End it all. You're either qualified or you're not. Are you the best man/woman for the job or not? End of story. Reward hard work. Disincentivize everything else. Materialism, consumerism, hedonism, all of that. Disincentivize all of it. Only reward character, moral, values, hard work. And society would right itself really quickly. But we don't, because our society and our government as an extension rewards all the bad shit I just listed. Why? Because you can make more money from people being divided. The story is old as time, guys. Remember, it's you versus the state. Not Republicans versus Democrats. It's not conservative versus liberals. It's not none of that shit. It's you versus the state. It's always been a class struggle. The peasants versus the aristocracy. The haves versus the have-nots. Remember, both these parties, whoever the fuck gets elected, all that shit doesn't matter. They all shake hands behind closed doors when they do their little song and dance for all the corporations and all the CEOs and rich businessmen and all the other special interest groups that give them the money for their campaigns. They're all there, all together. Kids go to the same schools. They hang out at the same houses. They do everything together because it's a class issue. We almost took this country back 2 times. People already forgot about this. On the left side, Occupy Wall Street, the 99%. Remember that? Or the 1%. That was the beginning of the change of something happening. And then again, they inserted, I don't know if people even remember this, but they inserted fake protesters in there to cause riots to get the protest shut down. Government agencies were doing that. They have an entire playbook on how to shut down protests like this. And people at the time, Occupy Wall Street was just demanding some sane changes to the system that would make it more fair for the 99%. Guess what? It got co-opted and destroyed. Then, years later, crickets, silence, we had one more attempt. One more, this time from the conservatives. They were called the Tea Party. And in the very beginning, if you look up the Tea Party and its demands, in the very beginning, again, sensible policies that were for the common man. Guess what happened? It got co-opted, hijacked, and turned into a shithole of a group. They always do this. Now, how many more years until the next one comes along where it's both conservatives and liberals coming together, seeing through the veil? I don't know, dude, but that's going to be our answer. That's our only answer. Because if this keeps on continuing, we're going to become further and further fragmented, looking at each other as the enemy, and eventually spilling blood over this shit. And it's senseless. It doesn't have to get that far. But it will if we don't stop it and see what's really happening. These fucking clowns that should be serving us don't. They serve corporations. They serve special interests. They don't serve the average hardworking American. It is what it is. Maybe if you yell loud enough from the rooftops, enough people start to hear you. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below and see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.